Welcome into the Legislative Lounge. We are your hosts, Natebige and Professor Mike. Welcome to episode 15. A lot's been going on over the last week or so, so hopefully you guys had a great, Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. Everything's safe, and hopefully you guys have a great Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, I should say, and New Year's into the 2025. But man, we are only 21 days, 3 weeks exactly, till Donald Trump takes the throne.
If I could explain to all of you how angry this man was today, and by this man I mean the gentleman to my left, your right.
Mm, mhm.
He was so upset over a certain Speaker of the House.
So yeah, you know what? Because if that's the route you want to take, Mike, let's go.
It,
Fireworks right from the beginning.
it was not even good morning, Mike. How are you? Did you sleep all right? It was.
Let me see exactly
Did
what did it.
you did you see what happened?
Oh, I think so. My exact text this morning at 10:15 to Mike, which is Central Time, says Trump's getting a full force of my foot up his ass this morning. And he replied, he said, why? Like, because he endorsed Mike Johnson today as the House Speaker for the vote, because I think the vote is on like Friday or something. And I still stand by it. I think it is an absolute stupid, dumb, idiotic, remedial type of endorsement. This man has done nothing but cater to the outrageous spending of the Democrats, sending money to God only knows what, approving bills and bringing forth bills on the House floor that incorporate sending money for transgender monkey studies and stupid crap like that. Like, this is who y'all want to represent the new era of Donald Trump going into the House. This is the man that you guys want, that allowed a 1,547 page continuing resolution to hit the floor without actually blocking it. Say, hell no, we ain't doing this. No, he allowed it to go to the floor, had it voted down, and then he was like, oh, okay, well, this is what we'll do. I don't get it. I think it's absolutely stupid. I think Donald Trump is absolutely stupid for this endorsement. And to make it matters worse, I guess about 2 hours ago or an hour ago, Elon Musk, of course, because he's, being Donald Trump's lap puppy, basically, also endorsed Mike Johnson. I was getting excited because there was tweets and everything coming out, especially Senator, or not, Representative Massey, coming out of, I believe, Ohio is where he's from. Yeah, Ohio. And he was saying, yeah, I ain't voting for Mike Johnson. I hope that's still the same, at least for him, because there was a lot of people, congressional members, that were starting to sway and say that they weren't going to be voting for him.
I thought he had achieved the GOP nomination in November.
So this is going to be for the 119th, I believe 119th is what we're at right now, congressional assembly. So they do a new vote every single time, right? So that they have to. I mean, typically you usually don't hear about it just because, but he has been so controversial, which is my entire effing point about this man for the last 13, 14 months that he's been speaker or whatever, since last October, I believe. And he's done nothing but cater to the outrageous spending bills and just nonsense of the left.
I mean, I didn't understand the whole decision-making process when Nate texted me this morning. I was so lost, and I was like, "There's got to be a reason behind the endorsement, maybe." And I asked Nate, were there other candidates? And there weren't, as far as I could see.
Well, I mean, of course
there
not.
weren't any names. There weren't even any names that were being floated around.
I mean, a lot of people had mentioned congressional member Massey taking place. I would have fully endorsed that. Even though my pick is obviously Jim Jordan, but Thomas Massey is just as perfect. I would have loved that. And he would have been catered more to the agenda of what we all voted for than Mike Johnson.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the reasoning why.
I don't understand it because just what, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, before all this mess, Donald Trump publicly said that he was actually upset about Mike Johnson bringing the 1,547-page CR to the floor. He said that I thought I had the tweet, but I can't find it now. But I mean, like, how do you go from realizing that this guy is a complete joke and just trying to appease the people to try and keep his base, basically keep his power, in my opinion, to now fully endorsing him? Like, I mean, we already know. I thought Donald Trump, from his first administration, I give him a pass because he was brand new to Washington, right? And he's had every single one of his nominations thus far or endorsements haven't been completely out of whack, and a lot of them, honestly, have been completely great. But I'm floored with this. I don't understand it. Like, I know that they were good buddies, but, like, that doesn't mean that he's doing his job. Sorry, Mike.
There's more questions than we have answers, and I'm hoping that as time progresses that we get those answers as to the reasoning why Donald Trump made this move.
I mean, he had a long, drawn out thing written on Truth Social, and I'm on Truth Social. I want to see if I can find it real quick. But I mean, there are plenty of other
The one from
candidates.
this morning.
Yeah, I believe so. I put it. I deleted it just after I made my video because I was this is stupid. This is dumb. So what? All right, I found it here pretty quick. So this is what it says, and I'm gonna read it. It's a little lengthy, but maybe I don't know. I didn't read it all. I'll be honest. I didn't read it all because I didn't really care. I don't care what the reasoning is. I think it's stupid either way. But let's read it. We are the party of common sense. That's probably why I didn't read it. Jesus Christ, the first 5 words is stupid. A primary reason we won in a landslide the magnificent and historic presidential election of 2024, all 7 swing states, 312 electoral college votes, and the popular vote by millions of voters. Despite large-scale voter fraud taking place in numerous states, including California, where votes are ridiculously still being counted and are under review, all won with ease, calm, and professionalism. Republicans are being praised for having run a legendary campaign. Democrats are being exonerated from their efforts, having wasted $2.5 billion. Much of is unaccounted for, with some being used to illegally buy endorsements. $11 million for Beyonce kind of goes into where those are at, blah, blah, blah. None of that. We don't care about that. And we ran a flawless campaign, having spent far less with lots of money left over. They ran a very expensive sinking ship, embracing DOJ and FBI weaponization against their political opponents, me, i.e. Donald Trump. But it didn't work. It was a disaster. Let's not blow the great opportunity which we have been given. The American people need immediate relief from all the destructive policies of the last administration, which Mike Johnson was the one that pushed it all on the House floor. But anyways, I digress. Speaker Mike Johnson is a good, hardworking, religious man. Bunk. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to win. Mike has my complete and total endorsement. I don't give a damn if he's religious or not. I really don't care. But he said he is a good, hardworking. This man is not hardworking at all. First of all, Congress only worked 200 days last year, right? That's
Mhm.
that's 2/3, not it's 2/3 of the entire year. I wish I could get paid 215,000 or whatever the House Speaker gets to only work 200 days last year. Like, this is ridiculous. He will continuously hear my foot down his throat about this. Just people are like, nah, give him a chance. I've been waiting for him to do something great over the last year. He hasn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at, like, a reasoning behind endorsement, but
I
there's
don't.
nothing to find.
And I believe there was another. Yeah. So Representative Mike Lawler also said that that Mike Johnson will be reelected as Speaker of the House. So it's like they're trying to garner more people, more support. It's like the fact that y'all had to do that in the first place is the problem. Like, and I was actually going to, talk about how much I am against Donald Trump pushing for congressional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress because I used to be a strong advocate for it, right? But
Mhm.
after discussing it with some people, I don't agree with it. I was going to actually put out there and say maybe there should be an age maximum. However, we are we should have the right to elect whoever we want continuously. And like people are saying, well, that's why Nancy Pelosi and all these people are still in office. Well, yeah, because they were reelected by the people that wanted them. Maybe we need to work on the education of individuals and stop worrying about who's in office and actually educate the people on who should be in office.
Well, thinking about it, maybe he is keeping Johnson in place just for now until after everything is certified and he makes it into office.
I mean, I understand possibly why, because they don't want to have any infighting or whatnot going on, and so that way they can get to the agenda right away. I understand that, but the
Yeah,
thing is if you don't have the right people in place, you're never going to get it done in the first place. Like if you're
that's
pissing,
also true.
like the thing is like, oh, you want to appease the moderate. That's what they like to call themselves, the
That's not
moderate
that's not what
Republicans.
I was getting at. Like right now, if you currently have a Speaker of the House, trying to determine a new one might delay the certification process.
No, because the certification, no, that ain't gonna happen because, like, that's one of the things that actually the Democrats really shot themselves in the foot for back in 2022. A lot of people aren't familiar with the CR that they did it in December of 2022, where they added an actual amendment to the Electoral Counts Vote Act of 2000 something. I don't know what I can't remember right off the top of my head. But basically, previously, as we all know, the election results are certified within Congress, right?
Mhm.
However, they can be challenged with one senator and one representative coming together and filing a motion in regards to it. However, in that revision from 2022, it now requires 1/5 of the chamber,
Mhm.
and it essentially takes away any powers that the vice president might have as well, which a lot of people were having issues with because Kamala Harris is like, how can she can't she's got to be able to delay it or she got to be able to not certify it, all this other stuff. Well, honestly, they can't do that anymore because I mean, Republicans did or the Democrats did it to themselves. So it's going to be a lot harder, even if Mike Johnson wasn't, because I mean, he doesn't have like the Speaker of the House really doesn't have any representation in the certification process outside of just being a congressional member.
Mhm.
And I mean, he can oppose it just like anybody else, but now they need 1/5 of the chamber rather than just one and one. So it wouldn't like even if they did replace him, it's an immediate replacement, right? Because Congress is actually sworn in before the president.
Mhm.
So the congressional members will take office prior to that because which will happen on the 3rd. which is when the vote is as well, because they have to do the certification on the 6th, I believe, is when it is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because it's January 6th. J6, oh my God. But yeah, so they on Friday the 3rd, they do the actual inaugurations of all the new members of Congress, the 119th. And then on that Monday, that following Monday, is when they certify the actual 2024 election. So, I mean, it shouldn't make any difference. That's why I'm like, I don't see why you're doing it. But that
Hmm.
that 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 leads me to the whole issue of what they plan to do to push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits. I mean,
That one, that's an interesting one.
mhm,
Um, I don't think it'll ever happen.
I wouldn't
Um,
say that.
I have very, very, very little faith that Congress will pass an amendment to the Constitution regarding their own terms of service.
A lot of them are calling for it nowadays, man. Like I mean, you go back 2020, sure, I'm on board with you. But nowadays, there's a lot of them calling for it. Now, that term would be completely different than what the president is. Like, oh, nobody can do anything in 4 years. Well, yeah, it's not going to be. It's going to be a minimum 10 years. If it even gets to the point of them being able to pass it, it'll be a minimum 10 years, if not 15 or maybe even 20.
I, ju- I mean, I don't mind the term limit. I think we've talked about it before. I think it should be 100% up to the people in every branch of government.
Mhm.
Um, I do think for now, this might be a route that we may have to take in order to get out dinosaurs
Yeah,
like Nancy Pelosi, like Mitch McConnell, like
absolutely.
Bernie Sanders.
Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer, Russ
I can
Bader.
I can we can go through both left and right and center.
Oh, for sure.
Like
And
that's one thing about me and Nate that we've said in the beginning. We will call out everybody, and I'm pretty sure it's self evident that for the past 15 minutes we've been going off about Mike Johnson.
mhm.
um, did you see that the Trump the E. Jean Carroll case got rejected?
It was what do you mean by rejected? I didn't see this.
They so he appealed it and they
Mhm.
rejected it.
They rejected to review the appeal?
Yeah.
Mm,
So
interesting.
next it's gonna
S
go higher now.
right. Interesting.
And
Mm,
then if I read correctly, uh, Letitia James,
mhm,
and decided to just dismiss the presidential immunity thing and proceed.
mhm. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, that
And there
you
was
see.
even more news, past that. It's not just but in one of his other cases, the Washington, D.C. U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves, who was the main prosecutor of the J6 cases, has resigned officially as of today.
hmm
So, I mean, we already know that that was tossed out, but there's gonna be a huge investigation into not only him, but also
Smith
Jack Smith as well.
and
So
the January 6th committee.
oh, for sure. I mean, Donald Trump hasn't he already said something about he's going to prosecute and put people in jail from the J6 committee if
Him,
he has any findings?
and, I mean that's one of the things that he talked about on multiple podcasts. That's one thing that Elon talked about. I think you know we've I think the silliest thing that I keep hearing is the the Democrat Party referring to Elon as President Elon.
Yeah, it's it's like their mantra. their thing of the week, right? So it's like going back to weird and all that other nonsense where you just kept hearing them say it repeatedly. Like it's so cringy to like. We know that you guys are doing that and you're
Well,
doing it on purpose,
they're trying to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon and Vivek,
right?
and it's just not working.
Not at all.
And to be fair to all those that are listening, Elon will never ever be president. He doesn't qualify, so
No,
he wasn't born in this country. Just to let everybody know.
you have to be born here in America. I
Yeah,
don't know if this is like news because there are people on social media that believe this crap. Like
that
he,
well, those people also haven't read Article 2 of the United States Constitution, and
man, it's the funniest thing because talking speaking about people that should be in prison. Since we were talking about J6 and all of them.
mhm.
Besides the fact that Donald Trump's going to be more than likely appealing all of them, but they've actually, I believe, I read somewhere that all of the J6 people that were in prison or are in prison have filed a lawsuit or some sorts to on the January 6th committee and everything going on with that. So that'll be interesting to see what's going on there.
Oh, they should file the biggest lawsuit regarding, they should seek restitutions,
Mhm.
regarding the government's complete disregard for due process.
Mhm.
And this is how corrupt the last administration was. There numerous, numerous individuals that were remained in prison that their due process, their civil rights were just meh.
That's crazy. So I mean that whole situation, you have people out here. I want. I guess I'm going to deviate from what I was intending to do because it's kind of a good segue into this. But a lot of these people out here are keep continuously saying, "Oh, insurrection, insurrection, insurrection," and not a single. And we keep telling them, not a single person has been charged with this, right? But yet you have the Hill, which
Oh,
everybody knows about that shit rag of a magazine or whatever it is, a news outlet, quote unquote, literally had an opinion piece put out by two, I believe, Harvard professors, law professors of at that literally said that Congress has the power to enact a stopgap basically to prevent Donald Trump from taking office. And
and
what they
it is the stupidest. I made a video on this, and it is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And this is how you know, even people that are lawyers could have became lawyers even if they got C's. Like, these people do not know the applicability behind Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. They do not know that the process is basically laid out to the letter in USB PAL 1871, which describes how to actually charge somebody with insurrection. And no, Congress does not have the power to utilize the 14th Amendment, Section 3 with President Trump because no one has been charged. It's already been said by the Supreme Court that this was not an insurrection. And it's been also said by the FBI that this was not an insurrection. And which is funny because the FBI has also admitted in congressional testimony that they had agents there undercover
right.
that were
But I mean,
instigating.
this is the one I don't get. Like they're literally like their main. I'm looking at the article right now. The main thing that they're saying is because of him engaging in an insurrection. I'm like, you guys, you're law professors. This is how you know you are politically motivated because you're not actually using law here. They literally say in this article, disqualification is based on an insurrection against the Constitution and not the government. The evidence of Donald Trump's engaging in such insurrection is overwhelming. That is literally right from the article. Like, if it was so overwhelming, then Why is not a single soul been charged with it, let alone Donald Trump?
Yeah, who's he like? Who's he insurrecting? Himself?
He was the president at the time for another 2 weeks. You didn't know you could insurrect against your own power. Like, damn you, get out of office. Like, that's literally what they're saying.
Yeah. But this is the problem with the Department of Education, and there's millions of people that are like, "Yes, he's an insurrectionist." You can't even define the term.
Bro.
That was to bar Civil War officers of, um, taking office
Yeah,
that had
it's
actually, you know, fought against the Union, which it didn't matter anyway because of the amnesty bill that came later. But the cognitive dissonance that is polluting all facets of this country is just astounding.
right? I mean, like we talk about and the cognitive dissonance in not really like realizing what's going on in reality just stems from their leadership, Joe Biden, because he literally just put out it, saying that he wishes he would have never dropped out of the race. I was like, well, duh, first of all, but second of all, you would have lost worse than Kamala Harris. I'm gonna be straight honest with you, dude. If you would have stayed, you actually helped the party by by leaving the actual ticket itself. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Donald, if it's a Donald Trump versus Joe Biden on in November, he's flipping Virginia and New Jersey, strongholds for the Democrats for the last several cycles. I mean, just look how close they were now, right? Virginia was like like under 100,000, and New Jersey was like 150,000, which is huge for New Jersey, guys. Like I know that sounds like a lot since their population isn't that great, but that's huge. It's like 150, 200,000.
Now let's remember the only reason that Kamala Harris won those states didn't require voter ID.
Right.
And to caveat on that, there's a bill that is to be introduced regarding ID and
Right. And
qualification. It is a beautiful piece of legislation, and I hope it passes through.
right. And I know that that is one thing that actually Mike Johnson was the one that said he was going to bring it forth, but I still don't trust him because they were trying to put it in the bill for the CR, right? Because I mean, the Democrats like to fill those things with garbage. Why not put something in there that'll actually help the American people? But he cowered away again. He went spineless on us and took it out.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I hope they do, but I don't
Yeah,
trust him.
and Donald Trump was very, very critical over Johnson regarding the suspension of the debt ceiling. Extremely critical, and which calls into question. I have too many questions for why, like as to why Donald Trump made this decision, and not enough answers, and we probably never get these answers.
Mhm.
So it's something that we're just gonna have to deal with and roll with the punches, and hope and pray that shit works out with us. You know, even though we technically, by registry, we have the House and the Senate and the speakership, but in reality, do we really with rhinos?
I was going like this when you were looking off to the left. I said, "We have the House and the Senate." Yeah, okay, sure. Like I've been saying it since the beginning. Yeah, we have 53 Republican senators in Senate, but I'm telling you right now, the split is 50-50 at best.
Hmm.
At best. And anybody can I you can argue with the wall on that because when you look at people like Murkowski from Alaska, when you look at that, I can't ever remember her name, but she's from Maine. There ain't no Republicans in Maine. What are we talking about? And then you got John Thune, the leader of them. He's a 50-50 voter himself. And then
Mhm.
you have John Cornyn here in Texas, the
Yep.
clown that he is. So we might have a minority in the House, or in the Senate. You never know. 'Cause especially, well, like I said, with John Cornyn and John Thune.
Yeah.
Look at their voting records.
Yeah. I don't I don't particularly see a lot of headway being gained when it comes to congressional legislation. I do have high hopes when it comes to executive power and our national security and
Mhm,
foreign relations. Those are the aspects to which Article 2 is very specific on what the president can and cannot do, and
mhm.
that is where, based on prior records, based on his first term, that is where I'm putting most of my money. Right,
Mhm.
that's where he's going to make the most change. Congressionally, Congress has always been filled with idiots.
I hope to God that they actually do what they're saying about primarying anybody that challenges Donald Trump's agenda, because there's going to be, I promise you, mark my words, there's going to be several of them.
Hmm.
Some of them have actually already said it, like Murkowski. I mean, she literally said herself, "I don't label myself a Republican." I'm like, how do you have an R next to your name then? Why is
I'm gonna
Alaska voting for you?
I'm gonna make a bet. The first legislation to come out of the 119th Congress that has anything to do with changing Congress will be opposed by Mr. Crenshaw.
Oh, absolutely. That guy's a joke. And he's here from Texas. He's gonna be he's got a primary challenge coming in from a Latina woman that's going to really make some noise.
Oh,
So
that really controversial one we were talking about.
yeah, I can't really remember her name because she's a little bit newer to the scene, but I mean, yeah,
She's awesome.
she's not gonna be the only one. I promise you, northeast Houston area. He's gonna have several challenges.
Mhm.
I mean, you gotta think that's Houston, right? Elon's down here. And what has Elon already said? Anybody that
Mm.
goes against Trump's agenda will be primaried. Doesn't it's a quick drive over to where he's from, where Elon's at here in Texas for, any kind of endorsements or money.
Mhm. I think that's what scares Democrat Party and the rhinos the most is Donald Trump is backed by somebody with unlimited resources.
Right? I mean, Donald Trump himself is, a billionaire, but he's also got two other billionaires on his side already, and then you have others like Jeff Bezos, um, uh, Zuckerberg, and the other one I can't remember.
Oh
Big
yeah,
tech.
they're
They're all
playing
going to kneel to kiss the
they're
ring.
playing real friendly, right? Especially Zuckerberg.
Well, I mean, what was it? Not only has Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg, they've donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration ceremony, but you also have other companies coming to heel and kissing the ring, like just
Toyota.
today. Toyota, or not today, it was within the last week. Toyota and Ford both donated $1 million. You got people from because obviously they see that the advantages that Trump's going to do is when it comes to his plan for business, he said he's going to give a tax credit, right? Huge tax credit to these companies that are going to be investing $100 billion. $100 billion is like pocket change to Toyota and Ford.
Mhm.
So they're like, yeah, let's go kiss the ring. So those in itself, I mean, there's going to be numerous other companies. These tariffs are, they're that's the only fear mongering they have on the left because they know that most people don't have any clue what these are. But yet you've got these multi-billion-dollar companies coming to heel to kiss Donald Trump's ring because they know it's going to make them buco bucks, which means that they'll be able to invest here into America, which is only going to help us.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they
and
don't.
you know what I find funny is how much uproar is on the left side of the aisle when it comes to Donald Trump making claims about purchasing Greenland,
Oh God, yeah. Was it Greenland, Panama, and
Panama, and something else.
I just saw that earlier too. And what was it? Denmark? I saw Denmark because they're like kind of like England is to Canada,
Mhm.
right? Um, that they reinforced their military over there. I'm like, y'all do know we pay for that, right? Like, like we literally give you guys money from our military budget for you guys to do stuff like that.
Let's be fair. We give everybody money.
It's the same thing with Panama. Panama's like trying to press back. Like, first of all, we lease that land back to you. Okay. Technically, we own it by law. I mean, by ownership. And a lot of people
Uh-huh.
don't even know that. Like, you look on Google, it says that it's owned by Panama, and but like, no, it's not. When you look at the actual documentations of it, it's owned by America,
Mhm.
and we pay them how much money every year? A couple million. I just love seeing these little countries beat their chest at us like they're gonna do something when we, you got the left all out here like the Harry Sissons and all that, be like, oh, they're infighting, they're causing division on a foreign stage. Is like, that's what they do. But us with a brain, we know what. Stop it, little guy. You know you're gonna come to heel by summer.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Like when that check stop, you know you're gonna be groveling. It's the same thing. Like I was in an argument last night with an individual talking about, oh, the tariffs and oh, Mexico's already fighting back.
I'm so
I'm like,
tired of the tariff conversation.
well, it's not even that. It's just like hold up. Do you live under a rock? Because the Mexican president just came out 2 days ago saying that she's opened up 25 shelters facilities for the intake.
Yep.
He's already won
Yep.
before he's taken office. What are you guys talking about? Guatemala has also reached out saying, "Hey, we'll take whatever you got, Donald Trump, as long as those checks keep coming."
Uh-huh.
Like you got the people on the left. They're just they just fearmonger to their base because nobody knows anything. That's just what's amazing to me. And I mean, talking about fear mongering, right? The whole infighting thing that we were just mentioning, and this could take us into a pretty good topic that we were talking about the other day, Mike. When it comes to like this whole Elon Musk endorsing the H-1B visas, and people are like out here going crazy over, even on the right. Like, there's people on the right that are being absolutely stupid about this situation.
Oh yeah, like that gentleman DC Drano on Twitter.
Yeah,
I think there's Elon said it best. There needs to be restructuring.
right.
There needs to be if we're gonna bring in outside foreign, people, they need to pay more.
And you think that they'd want that. Like, I don't even know what his like the Diso Drano, the Laura Loomers, like those are the
Mhm.
big political the influencers that are having an issue with this. And I don't really know what their issue is outside of the fact that they don't think that any of these people should be coming over here and taking American jobs. And it's like, but
That
Americans aren't getting into those fields though. There's
and
reasons why we're doing that.
there's a lot of reasons, and it comes down to what we were talking about. Education is too expensive,
And that's what we're talking about. That's what it comes down to. I mean,
and um, people are not well, the education part, and people are not interested in those fields. I mean, we have more degrees coming out now than ever before in history, and majority of those degrees are bullshit liberal arts degrees that are never being used. They're
no,
not applicable in the job market.
a few years back, I looked at the statistic. 76% of people that have a college degree don't even work in the field that their degree is for. 76.
Correct.
So people can boast about how we're having, oh, the most degrees out there, but like, are they amounting to anything?
I mean, it
But
doesn't. I mean, we have the most degrees out there, but yet our average IQ is like 99.
right. Don't even get me started on that. But you had said a second ago that people aren't going into these fields. And honestly, I do believe it has to do with intelligence, first of all,
Hmm.
because most Americans are stupid. I'm just gonna be straight up with you.
Oh
There's
yeah,
wa- there's probably not enough smart people to go into these fields. But another issue is that there are people that are smart enough and probably smarter than most people in the fields,
hmm
but can't afford the schooling. That's the problem.
Exactly.
You like, when you a lot of people are having issues with, like, the tech industry and the engineering. Those were 2 that were mentioned within this back and forth with Elon and all this, because that's where he's in, basically. And the
Mhm.
thing is when you look at, like, an engineering school, like, you're sitting at $250,000 in total school student loans if you're not, getting some kind of exorbitantly huge, scholarship, or you don't have a rich mommy or daddy or something like that.
Well,
But
any of those fields, those big fields, like you're talking about the medical field, you're talking about the legal fields, you're talking about the tech industries, like even nursing, you're talking about hundreds of thousands.
yeah, I was just the reason why I brought up the engineering is because, I mean, everybody knows that about law and medical and stuff like that. Like, they
Mhm.
know it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like, I personally know that because that's why I didn't go and complete my medical degree, because I was sitting at 500. I was looking at $500,000 in debt minimum, right? And I
Mhm.
don't have a rich mommy or daddy. I didn't get great scholarships, but I was actually a little shocked by the engineering. I was like 250,000.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at things like Michigan and all these other schools that have leading engineering schools. Like, Michigan obviously leads in everything, but yeah, I had to
I
drop that
like
one.
how you
I had to drop that one. Yes, sir. But I mean, you look at the schooling. These people that are coming over here and taking these jobs, they're getting their schooling that is equivalent to what we have here, and not to say a fraction of the price would be an overestimation.
Mhm.
I mean, you got people from India and whatnot going over, having the schools over there that are more than likely better education, obviously, because they're the ones getting hired at a much higher rate than Americans in those fields. But it's a fraction of the price.
Well,
So it's like,
also those schools over there aren't dealing with the political DEI social justice warrior bullshit.
right, right.
And then you tie into the social aspects of that. And the reason that Asians and Indian heritage individuals are flooding those markets is one, they can afford it. Two, they have a a culture which drives success. We don't have that culture here anymore.
Right, right. And I mean, I can only defend you guys, price wise for so far, because Mike hit the nail on the head. There is an apathy here in America by most Americans that is just astounding, because, like, you got people out here complaining about not being able to afford things, right? I'm kind of deviating here, but it goes along. And complaining about pricing and all this other stuff. But then when I try and, like, hey, these are things that me and my wife do on the side of my main job, like, would you be interested in doing any of these? Oh, no, 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 no. Like, they have no drive to better themselves. It's the craziest thing to see people sitting here whining, but never want to better themselves.
Like there's so much stuff like that me and Nate do in our own personal lives just to try to, expand our own horizons. Like I'm in college right now. The only reason I'm in college is because of my service to this country and the army is paying for it. Otherwise, I would not be in college because I can't afford that shit. And I'm just getting a bachelor's degree, and that
Right.
shit's expensive.
Right. And that's my thing is this, like, you have people like me and Mike who could absolutely, I without a doubt, I'd be one of the best doctors you ever met. Why? Because I don't just read the textbooks that they hand you. I read the alternative medicines that actually work as well on top of it. So that
Mhm,
way I can be a better informed. So, but the problem is I can't afford to get the general knowledge, so that way I can provide a more expertise to most people. It's
mhm.
because they don't care in Congress. Like, they're sitting here they're getting stipends and whatnot from the government while increasing the price of tuition and textbooks and all this other nonsense. It's like, if they eliminate most of the cost, they would have so many more people joining these fields.
Oh, we did the math. We did the math a few months ago, Nate. When it came to the explosion in cost, and when it came to colleges, it
Mhm.
was, you know, well past the hundreds of percent in cost. Like, just shot through every roof, shot through the heavens in cost from the '80s till now.
Oh, it's
You're talking
crazy.
about hundreds of percentages that it has, jumped up.
In certain fields, it's over 1,000%.
Mhm,
And it's
and it's it's ridiculous. Higher education should not be that expensive. If you truly have the best interest in providing for a thriving economy and a thriving nation, you would ensure that the next generation has the opportunity to achieve those goals.
and that's one of the things that, like, when it comes to, like, the male versus female, statistics in regards to who's graduating, and it's like they're always so damning on the man because it's like they're decreasing the number of men are not educated nowadays. It's like it's because it's too expensive. That's the only reason why I don't go back to school because I can't afford it
Well,
because
what
I
what you're
have to work for my family.
mhm. Well, what you are seeing is an increase in females graduating from spheres of higher education, and you are seeing a decrease in males, but the males are going into trades
Right.
because it's cheaper. But at the end of the day, long term, it's providing much more benefit. From a psychological point of view, the reasons why men are choosing those trades because psychologically men are more interested in things. Female women are more interested in people. That's why nursing is a primarily female dominated field.
Mhm. And I mean, you can expound even more into different avenues of that, and talk about how the family dynamics work within that, especially with men that work in trade, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, you hear it all the time: family splitting up because the man's working too much, and it's like, but yet these the governmental people are like they're worried about, oh, people aren't getting degrees, families are breaking up, there's all this blah. It's like it's because they first of all they can't afford anything and they have to work every day for 12 hours, 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week just to afford what they do have.
I confuse Nate every week on on what days I actually work because I work a lot just to maintain what I have, and I don't have an extravagant lifestyle.
Mhm.
Um, I live paycheck to paycheck, and I work overtime every week.
And say yeah, that's and I thank God every day for what I'm able to do and what my brain can do because it takes a lot of brain power to do the job that I have. Just because it could result in a lot of different lawsuits and whatnot.
Hmm.
But it's when you're trying to raise a family of 4 in Texas, Houston, Texas at that, where housing for rent on a small house is 2,400 square feet, that doesn't look like a dilapidated crap hole. It's that's literally 1/4 of your entire paycheck if you make 100 grand. Over one, what's it, like, 27%? That's what it is for me right now. Like, I
Yeah.
do make good money. I'll admit that. I do, because God has blessed me, and I thank him every day for it. But when you're looking at pricing of food and everything on top of me paying 1/4 of my check just to the housing, it I'm living paycheck to paycheck as well almost.
Hmm. Um, yeah. The reason I work so much overtime is because where I live in Arizona, I have an 1,800 square foot house. I pay 2,300 a month in rent.
Yeah. Now that's even worse than Texas.
That
Like,
doesn't even count utilities.
Jesus.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
like, I
even
mean,
count the vehicles and auto insurance, which auto insurance
oh, Lord
itself.
Jesus. Don't even get me started. That's what I work in. I work in it. I mean, I do commercial stuff, but I know what's going on in the personal home and auto and all that because I pay it too.
Hmm.
And it's absolutely crazy. Like how I mean, you got these companies that are just billions making billions and billions of dollars, but at the same time, they're also paying out these claims that are just ridiculous. And people sit here and complain about how, oh, they're looking to deny any claim for anything. It's like, yeah, because they're having to pay out all of these false claims and these fraud claims, especially in places like Michigan when it comes to the auto. Holy God. Like there was so much fraud in the auto field because they're the only state that has unlimited medical when it comes to car accidents. And I mean, honestly, that's helped even people that I know. So it's a good thing and a bad thing because at the same time, Michigan had the highest, and still even to this day, with the law change that they had the highest fraud claims of any other state by double digits by the next state. So they're paying out. So it's like from I can see both sides of it because I pay the insurance, but I also see the fake claims that come in every day.
Hmm. Like, um, there's definitely on the flip side of the coin, there is an entitlement issue in this country, and I see it every day in the field that I work in the medical field. When it comes to working in a hospital, you see you see the entitlement, and I keep telling the you know top people you need to put the definition of triage in the emergency room because people just think that, oh, I'm gonna go in the emergency room because I got the sniffles. I'm gonna be seen right away. Nah, homie, you're gonna get triaged and you're gonna have to wait based on
Mhm.
severity.
Right. I mean, and don't even get me started on the whole medical side of things. Because we'd be here for another 2 hours. But I mean, I mean, you probably heard about this. They're ramping up the fear tactics again.
Oh, the quademic.
With a quademic.
Oh, believe no. So I know. Um, there's already precautions being taken place and some practices regard people.
Precautions that say on the box does not prevent virus transmission.
It says that for every brand, even three. You know what drives me nuts? 3M makes the what is it? The N95.
N95.
3M.
Hmm.
That is the go-to mask.
Hmm. Doesn't do
3M
shit.
was just involved in a lawsuit
Doesn't do
for
shit.
for giving hundred I wanna say hundreds of thousands of veterans tinnitus and hearing loss.
Huh?
Why are Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
yeah, look it up, 3M settlement, for tinnitus.
Oh Lord.
So y'all are trusting a company that has
Expert.
already been sued for hurting veterans. You think they're gonna provide you safety?
Right? But I mean, watch out for the quademic. You know, you got the flu, COVID, RSV, and the neurovirus. But don't forget the lurking, the almighty dying chicken. Was it bird? Because it's coming from the chickens. That's why I said I put that on the graphic. It's
The
the
bird
bird
flu.
flu. Oh. And they got the rapid fire vaccine coming out for it too.
Why is California seeing so much, bird flu?
Oh
Maybe they
Lord.
maybe if they stop being such a shithole and allowing for an environment that, enables a virus to mutate,
I mean, would y'all just cook your damn chicken correctly?
would y'all just clean up your streets and then you wouldn't have to have an app that tells you where all the shit stains are?
Oh my god. Like that is just the fact that, mm, who is it? The health inspector too or whatever her name is. Let me see if I can find it here. She was calling upon Biden to rapid approve. Yeah. So health expert Dr. Leanna Wen called on the Biden administration to authorize bird flu vaccines before Donald Trump takes office. I was like, y'all do know that this is literally COVID-19 vaccines 2.0.
Mhm.
We don't have a bird flu vaccine. They literally are just now developing
For
it.
the love of all that is holy, for the lo if you find this podcast, do not, do not give do not get this shot.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There is no reason.
I mean,
Cook
I
just cook your chicken.
me personally, I don't trust, and I'll stand 10 toes on this. Me and my wife are completely anti-vax because of many different reasons. You can argue with a wall unless you want to be educated because we got books upon books to show you on why we stand that way. But to even like go along that line, Senator Ron Johnson, Mike, I don't know if you saw this, actually asked for the removal of liability protections for makers, first enacted by the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986.
Mhm. That protection for those that protection for businesses like Pfizer and Moderna and
All of them, yeah. And
saying
then,
that, "Oh,
but the
if you get this mandatory vaccine, we're not at fault."
you know what's funny about that though is like people will believe that, right? And think that that's a reality because of this law. But in reality, when you look at Pfizer, they pay out over $1 billion every single year on vaccine injuries alone.
Yeah,
You
just
can
look
go
at
right
Bears.
to it. But
Just
it's
look at the
not even
Bears.
just yeah, but it's not just theirs. They literally report it themselves.
Mhm.
Like these are court documents, but it's oh, they can't be held liable because of this. It's like eliminate this, and you'll see way more, and it'll be more public.
Mhm.
So I hope to God that this is the reality. I know I haven't even told my wife this, so she's gonna probably be ecstatic because she's part of all of these anti-vax groups, and that's where we get a lot of our information because we have a lot of medical professionals in those groups. So I'm excited to see that. Plus, on top of that, we have the All Father of Health, which that's the one I'm going to dub him, and Robert Kennedy coming out. He's actually got plans to eliminate and make it illegal for drugs to be advertised on TV.
Yeah, we are one of 2.
Well, I think New Zealand was the other one. That was the only other one
Um,
is New Zealand.
I think so.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
No, I'm telling you, yeah, like, I know it's New Zealand. So, because there's a lot of anti-vax that coming from New Zealand as well. So that's why what Robert Kennedy is gonna do in the health administration, I can't wait.
It's
But
gonna be amazing. And
so
a lot of people on the left side are like,
He doesn't have a medical degree.
I know, like, and it's like, yeah, but I mean, you look at the person who's the current, health administrator or whatever they call the
"This dude is 70."
transgender, obese, whatever the thing he is.
Yes,
That's
he is over beast. He's not just obese, he is over beast. I like the first way you pronounced that.
Did I say that? Yeah, I mean, it still fits, but I mean, it's crazy
He
to see
doesn't
him.
fit in much, but it fits.
Oh, it's like whenever you go to the doctors and they're like, "Hey, you should lose a few pounds." You weigh 300 pounds, Doctor So and So. Like, what are we doing here? You
Oh,
see it all the time.
so, um, Megan has, she sees a endocrinologist. That woman hates me
I bet.
because
Wait, she
I did
diabetic?
go to s I go to school. She what?
She ain't diabetic or nothing, right?
No, 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 she's not
Oh, okay,
diabetic.
okay.
Sh she's, she's she's got an interesting case.
Mm.
She is, she's got hypothyroidism, but she displays all the
Oh,
characteristics of hyper.
yeah, yeah. Endocrine. I was thinking something completely
So,
different.
I actually, um, prior to my political ventures on TikTok, I first joined that silly app. God, I hope it gets banned. I wanna see everybody lose their minds.
Be funny.
Like, but I went to school for, health science and nutrition, and, the endocrine system is I love it, and, that doc that endocrinologist hates me because I wanted to know the nitty-gritty details as far as her complete hormone panel,
Mm,
the
mhm.
stuttering that I got.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my like, if you are an intellectual, if you are if you show any signs of, intelligence to a doctor, they will stutter so hard.
You question
Like,
them on anything because, I mean, y'all be surprised at how little doctors actually know.
Yeah, their nutrition class. This is why they refer you to a nutritionist who's probably also obese, and like their medical school is offers an optional nutrition course.
Hmm.
So, and if you've ever been in a hospital and you take a gander into the emergency department, I guarantee you that at the nurses station, every nurses station, there is nothing but fatty cakes.
Yeah. Don't even like I say, you could get me and Mike going on a health kick. Like
Hours.
we could do a whole podcast for a couple hours just on health stuff. I mean, and we could hit every topic. But there was a few other things that's happened this week, though, Mike, that I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are I don't know about. So for instance, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see that Biden actually admitted that hiring Merrick Garland was a terrible mistake of his? Like, I was like, "Yo!" He actually admitted that. I can't remember. It was to some kind of article or something, right?
Yeah, was it The Guardian?
Yes, it was. Yep, I've got it right here. Yep. Well, I'm like-
I'm getting good at remembering these lefty articles.
but even to even make it even worse on top of that, I mean, in combination with that, both was it Alejandro Mayorkas,
Uh-huh.
the border czar that's currently there, or well, that was Kamala Harris, but he technically is what gonna be what Tim Holmes is, right? And he admitted that he and his deputy could have blocked more migrants at the southern border. Said
You
we
don't
have
say.
we this is a quote from him. We have taken executive action more rapidly recently. If he had known in 2020, emphasized, added, which is funny they added that here in this tweet, that Republicans would reject his January 2024 bill. So they're basically saying here, his lack of movement is what was causing them to go after him the way that what he's done, and he admitted that I fucked up. Those two people that Biden put in place.
Um, One of the craziest things that I saw in the past week was that poor woman that was burnt alive in the New York subway.
Oh, Lord. But of course, everybody was
You know
quiet
what I'm
on that.
talking about? That Guatemala,
Oh, yeah. God forbid a white man
like,
protect people on the subway, because he's white, condemn him solely. But an illegal migrant who's already been here once and was deported, mind you. So this
under the Trump
right,
administration.
2019, I believe, is when he was removed, and yet
Yep.
not a single word from almost anybody.
Like, this woman, she was reported to have been asleep on the train, and
It's
this
almost
guy
like
was, I guess, following her and watching her, and then just set her on fire.
unprovoked. And what's crazy about it is the fact that there's video of this, which is disgusting that it's circulating the way it is. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I don't like about. I do like it, but I don't like it at the same time when it comes to X. It's easier to circulate things on there now, as
Oh yeah,
even as graphic as that. But you could see police officers just walking by her or security or something. They had a
yeah.
badge and a
It was
gun.
police. It was police.
What?
Like they could have intervened and how do you put out a fire? You cut off the oxygen.
I mean, obviously that lady was in like some kind of shock because she was just standing there, right? Dying basically. They
Oh, she
could
was
have
gone.
thrown her on the ground. Well, she was moving in what I saw, but she was on fire completely. Like they could have thrown her on the ground and like rolled her and got the fire off. But no, they just casually walked by her.
And that dude fanned the flames.
Bro. Like that's why I like that this new congressional lady that I can't for the love of me remember her name that's going to be running against Dan Crenshaw. She says that in her opinion, those people should be executed in the public. I like for this guy, I'm fully on board.
She's awesome. She's She said she's gonna speak her mind, and she gives no Fs. I love it.
That's my spirit animal. Like, that's how I've been lately, and I don't even care, man. Like, last night's live, you would have you and they were letting me just go off on TikTok. I was trying to get banned, man. I was trying to get banned. I was saying the R word, all that. I was calling everybody retard, all that. I don't care. I was just going at it because I was pissed yesterday about a few things, and I just let them have it.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that word. It reminds me of a post that I saw Elon make on X, where he actually said something was retarded,
Mhm.
and then he said, "Pardon me, I'm retarded. I used the wrong tense." For
And see, like, I'm so tired of people trying to tell me what I can and cannot say. It's like, fuck off. Like, straight up. I'll say what I want to say. You don't like
the
it? Go somewhere else.
the political correctness is what made the left lose.
Yeah. I
Political
had
political correctness, DEI, CRT, social justice warrior bullshit. That is why they lost.
Mhm. I tell you right now, there were so many people coming at me in that live last night too, and they were like, even in the comments, they were like, I reported him. Didn't even get a warning. I was like, I'm gonna push this to see how far I can go. Because there's a rumor out there. I don't know if you've heard about it, Mike. There's a rumor that they're actually decensoring conservative people on TikTok now. Like they've lessened the that's why you don't see people getting their videos flagged and like me, I went off in that live, bro. I'm telling you. Every word that
Interesting.
you can't say, I said it.
That's interesting. Maybe, man, I'm still gonna behave because I don't trust it.
My account's already on a warning. It's been on a warning for the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, screw it. I don't care. So it's supposed to be gone in 2 weeks anyway. So bye.
I'm gonna keep my account with my I don't know how many followers, but
I think I got like 17.5 right now. I don't know. It's nothing.
nothing.
But yeah, so a lot went on this week. We should see, a lot more coming up in this next week, especially with Friday being the election of the Speaker of the House. You guys will hear me fucking throw a fit because I already know it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna go off. I'm probably have my TikTok account banned by Friday night. But
Y'all need to tune in next Monday.
next
Next
Monday
Monday,
it's gonna be fire.
it is January 6th.
I promise you, I will have a list of every Republican that voted for this rhino.
Hmm.
And I will be going at each individual one of them on whatever platform that they're active on.
You know, all
So,
those Republicans are on Facebook.
oh, I know.
If
Yeah.
if y'all didn't know, the reason Republicans lose like always on social media is because they're on Facebook.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
Unless you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's on every platform.
absolutely. So tune in next week, guys. Next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. I don't know why I'm stuttering, but we thank you guys for coming in and enjoying what we have to say. Hopefully, we can bring you guys more news. Like we always say, if you guys have any topics or any bills that you hear of that we might not have, bring it to us. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Email us, Facebook us, whatever, and let us know, and we'll do it for you.
Yep, drop whatever you want us to cover on the comments of a video or a short, what have you. And yeah, until next time, if you are not already following the greatest podcast in America, go follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok while it's still here, Rumble, Twitch, and Patreon. And have a blessed day.